talk about Louis Dumont and his contribution to understand Indian social realities, we categorized Louis Dumont as an Indologist. The point here is why we call Louis Dumont as an Indologist. Indologist because Louis Dumont tries to study, has done an extensive work on caste system in India. And originally he is a French scholar, but his interest of area lies in India and southern part of India. Okay? So, as far as his understanding is concerned, we try to categorize him as a sociologist from. The second important aspect about Louis Dumont is there is a debate between India and West, and in that particular context, what Louis Dumont is trying to talk about, that particular societies and intergenerational comparisons. These are the 2 points I am trying to make. One is comparative between what? A comparison between what? A Western society and Indian society. These two different types of society are being compared by Louis Dumont. And while doing so, he has tried to construct a particular approach or a particularistic approach to study a particular society. So Louis Dumont in that way focuses on studying a particular society, means studying Indian society. If you talk about Indian society, specifically caste system, this is one. Secondly, while making a reference to these studies, he is trying to focus on a comparative parallels between Western society and Indian society. There are problems in his comparisons. If you look at the comparison, what he tries to draw, there are problems, but anyway, try to locate him in this particular context. The very famous book, what this Louis Dumont has written, now this is the book. You must have a look at this particular book and tries to read this book in details, because what this book suggests, what this particular book suggests, this book I will be talking extensively from this particular work and what this particular work suggests. But let me talk about what are the methodological approaches he has adopted. And out of these methodological approaches, we will try to understand his book called Homo Hierarchicus, the caste system and its implication. We'll be talking about that. So if you talk about methodologically about this particular book, you can find that the notion of ideology and tradition, are intrinsic part of his paradigms. What does it mean? Ideology and tradition are the intrinsic part of the analysis what Louis Dumont has tried to present. In one hand, he is trying to talk about ideology, on the other hand, he is trying to talk about traditions. How these two aspects or two important aspects of society can be used as a paradigm to understand society. While doing so, while making such kind of paradigms between ideology and traditions, he brought the method of structuralism and how this structuralism method can be used to study caste system in India. That means caste system, how caste system can be understood from a structuralistic point of view. So he has tried to use this structuralism as his framework to understand the blending of ideology and traditions in an Indian context. So if you talk about methodologically about Louis Dumont and his contributions specifically to study caste system while keeping a tab on ideology and traditions, you can talk about first point is ideology and structure. I'll be discussing all these points little details. Secondly, you can find the dialectic transformational relationship and comparison between two different society, Western society and Indian society. Thirdly, you can talk about Indological and structuralist approach. Fourth, the cognitive historical approach. These are the four methodological aspects which is linked with or which is related with Louis Dumont's work. So let us take the first point called ideology and structure. You know what is called ideology and how ideologies are formed. Dumont tries to find out ideology of caste in Indology. So he tries to find out the ideology of caste in Indology. And in that context, he is trying to study the unity of Indian civilization. That means he is trying to study the uniqueness of Indian civilizations and tries to locate the diversity, how it brings unity. There he tries to suggest caste is an ideology. Caste as an ideology, he used caste as an ideology in Indology. I'll come to this particular point a little later. But let us see that how does he defines ideology. What is ideology and how ideology is defined? He writes that it designates, that means ideology designates a more or less unified set of ideas, and values. So, what is ideology? Ideologies are unified set of ideas and values. Unified set of ideas and value is called ideology. So, unified set of ideas and ideology. Now, how do you locate this definition? That unified set of ideas and values are considered to be what is called ideology. You know, for the time being, if you just try to understand the very concept of ideology, forget about Louis Dumont for the time being. So, ideology is a set of ideas and values. Take the example of democracy for that matter. Have you ever thought that democracy can be or is one of the ideologies to lead the life or to govern the society or to run the society? So, democracy in my understanding is an ideology because it consists of a set of values and ideas. On the basis of such set of values and ideas, we try to govern ourselves. So therefore, in my understanding, democracy is considered to be an ideology because it is a set of ideas and values which more or less unified us and which more or less tries to give a framework to us to understand society or to have a society like this. So, democracy is an ideology because it is a set of ideas and values. Second example, unified set of ideas and values. Let us come to caste system. I don't know what is your opinion about caste system, but certainly caste is full of set of ideas and values, and that governs the way of life of the people. So caste as a system which has full of ideas and values, and these ideas and values tries to govern the life of the people. How? You may have these doubts in your mind, sir, how you can say that caste is considered to be an ideas and ideologies and set of values and that governs our day-to-day life. I will be giving you a project here. Think about it. Go to your societies, look at it, how things happen. Then come back to me. I am keeping my examples reserved here by giving a kind of thought to you that how caste is full of ideas and ideologies